My name is Abingdon, and I'm coming at you today from Las Vegas, Nevada. We're downtown Las Vegas in the Arts District, and this is cool. I'm the founder of the Abingdon Watch Company, and what you see in front of me is all the different styles that we offer. And all of these styles are going to be available on the Navy Exchange. So I'm going to kind of go through each one and give you guys a first peek at what is going to be soon available on the Navy Exchange. So first off, a little bit of background with the company. It started in '07. Why did it start? I was learning how to fly. I was 22 years old, and I wanted to get my pilot's license. Today, I fly everything. I ferry airplanes. I've flown for the airlines. I do private flight as well. I have about 80 different airplanes in my logbook. Up to the Airbus A321 is the largest. That's not true. That's not the largest airplane I've flown anymore, because earlier this summer I did fly 747. Yes, so that is where I wanted to start, was back in Santa Monica in 2006, getting my pilot's license. And once I got it, I really wanted like a graduation gift, a gift that memorialized something that I did and I achieved for myself. So of course I look up aviation watches for women, and there's nothing. It's just total crickets. So that's where this started. We started off as the first pilot's watch made for women. And then from there, it just grew. Because it turns out, and you probably know this, that women like to do some pretty cool stuff. We are really into racing cars. We are flight attendants that are traveling around the world all over the place. We are in tech ops. We're coding. We're doing all sorts of crazy cool things. We're scuba diving. We're even working on our cars as well as racing them. I drive a Mini Cooper, and it's a little supercharged '05 convertible, and I may have gotten a ticket or two. I'm not going to admit anything on camera, but I do like speed. So we wanted to make a watch that would be able to keep up with our active lifestyles. Because in the watch world, there just doesn't exist anything like that for men, or for women. It exists all over the place for men, but not necessarily for women. So that was the whole impetus of the company, and that's why we started. So in 2007, launched the brand, and we launched it with two styles, Amelia and Jackie. So I'm going to show you here Amelia and Jackie and how it started as a pilot's watch and then what we grew into. So Amelia here comes in, and all of these, you can see like all the fine details, because I know that this covers a lot here, but you'll see all the details on the Navy Exchange. And like I said, check back this link for when they are live. But you have them in 3 colors that will be standard. So you've got a white dial and a black dial. You have it with steel or leather bands. And then you also have, and this is kind of one of my favorites here, is a limited edition. This only came in 100 pieces. There's only a few left. But this is a crowning gold version, and it's a 24 karat ionized plating, which means gold, when you emplate or fuse onto steel, you definitely want to make sure that it's not going to rub off. So an infusion plating is almost like it melds with the first few layers of the steels. It's like wood glue on wood. So it really infuses into it. So you're not going to get wear with any of the platings that we use. We only use IP because it's just a longer wear. So the Amelia here is a dual time zone watch, meaning you've got 2 time zones on it. One is a 24-hour clock that's in the center, and then the other is your local hands, your hour, minute, and second hand. It's a Swiss movement. It glows in the dark. It's got a sapphire crystal on it, and in fact, every single watch that you see here all have sapphire crystals. If you know anything about the watch world, you know that sapphire is the hardest material that you could possibly have on a crystal. So everything here is meant to take a beating, and that's one of the elements. All of the steel that you see, because you can see the steel on the case, you can see it on the band, on the crowns, it's all surgical grade 316L steel. It's the same stuff that surgeons use with their scalpels. So if you have like a if you're hypoallergenic, or you have things that turn green, or that kind of thing, or you get any type of rash from a metal, we are very, very almost nil on any alloys that are used in the metals here. So everything is built very strong, hypoallergenic, and built to last. Around the bezel, is and this is the inner bezel that I'm talking about, it's called a chapter ring, is a flight computer. So you've got an E6B on there, and that flight computer will do everything from time, speed, and distance calculations to, converting statute miles to kilometers, or what am I saying? Statute miles is what we drive in, and then kilometers is what Europe is in. So you can do those types. You can do currency conversion as well. So we do have video manuals for everything here, and if you are stationed abroad, or if you just travel for a vacation, I just got back from England, and I had the British pound set up to the US dollar right here. And I was able to walk into a restaurant and just look at the menu and see exactly how much I was spending in dollars by glancing at my watch. So very, very cool feature. It's intended for not just the flight deck and what you need if your instruments go out, but also just for ease of use with travel. So that is the Amelia. And one thing I didn't yet mention here, but this is also standard, and I'm going to show it to you on the metal strap, is and this is standard with all of them, is all of the bands are completely interchangeable. So I didn't do that with any tools, right? So I can take off an entire strap, have a watch, and this is how I travel. I'll take one watch head, one watch case, and then I'll take a variety of different bands and then have a completely different look. You can dress these up, you can dress them down, and that's why this watch here comes with two straps, the leather strap and the gold strap. Also the Marina, when I get to our dive watches, they come with a titanium strap as well as a silicone strap. So all of our bands are totally interchangeable too. Metals, leathers, silicones, it doesn't matter. We don't use tools. We want to keep it easy. These are your tools. You can do a lot with your hands, so just use your hands. And we've got lots of videos about how to do that as well. The Jackie is a showstopper. It's an absolute stunner. It has 64 Swarovski crystals around the bezel. This is my favorite watch. I'll tell you my personal. It's the one I'm wearing right now. And this watch here, 41 millimeter case size, so it is our biggest out of all of them. It's a beautiful, beautiful watch. It has a stunning pearl dial. It also has that flight computer that I mentioned is on the Amelia. So again, you just rotate right at that crown at the 6 o'clock, and you've got all of those different calculations that are right in there at a glance. You don't have to pull out an app. You don't have to pull out your phone. You don't need a battery. It's just mechanical. It's two gears that work. So it will always work. You can always convert currency. You can do all that kind of stuff. The difference between Amelia and Jackie, where Amelia has those 2 time zones, Jackie has a stopwatch. So if you are big on timing and you need a timer for certain things, you can time up to an hour with the Jackie. Genuine mother of pearl dial, crystal is sapphire as well, and this is a Japanese Miyota movement. So FS20, it's probably one of the best movements in the watch industry. I love this movement. So that's your Jackie, and it comes in a pink, green, and white. So dreamy white, seaplane green, and sunset pink. Now the watch I'm wearing, I'm going to take it off for you, and this is my lucky watch because this is the watch that I wear pretty much every day for the last 15 years, is one of the original prototypes of the Jackie. And I have worn this watch hands down, like I said, almost every day for 15 years, and it has still held up. It looks great. All I've done is change the batteries. Batteries typically last about 2 to 3 years, and it just works. So, and I have dropped this thing. I have lost it. I have accidentally put it in the washing machine and thought it was change. Yeah, that totally happened. And it's still continued to work. So when you think of these watches, when you think of Abingdon watches, think of them like a beautiful timepiece meets a Swiss Army knife. It is virtually indestructible, and yet it's still going to look really, really good. And that's what we're doing. We're over-engineering the function of them so that they perform. It's about performance with these watches. So that's the real key part, is that these are going to last. So that's Amelia, that's Jackie. Let's get into Elise. Elise was our third watch that we came out with, And this was designed by the travel industry. I'm not going to bring all of them out here, but you can see they're all right here. And I'm also going to show you what your watch will look like when it shows up on your doorstep. So they come in a white box, and when you open it up, you'll have a few materials inside. One of my favorites are the stickers, and these stickers were designed, you can see it's time to drive, it's time to race. There's a variety of different ones. They'll be kind of random as they show up. It's time to torque. I do like that one. But these were designed by one of our scholarship winners because this company also gives back. We have Abingdon Foundation, and what they do is we provide scholarships, resources to get women into non-traditional industries so that they can learn, explore, either as something that could just be recreational or as a career. So we've helped a lot of military to civilian transitions. We've done a lot of different efforts in just getting women into different industries that may not necessarily be marketed to them or they might not be exposed to. So one of our scholarship winners designed these stickers for us because she is a graphic designer and she wanted to learn how to fly helicopters. So pretty cool. But you'll get one of those in the box as well as a link to where our video manuals are because all of our manuals for our watches are on video. And you can also find them on our YouTube channel. So that's another place that you'll have support for our watches. So that's what it will come in. Now, Elise, probably my top travel watch. And the reason being is because I don't know of any other watch that has 3 time zones on it, a woman's watch. There was a discussion in the watch community about this just a little bit ago, maybe a month or so ago. And they all agree there is not a woman's watch out there that has 3 time zones. So on the Elise, and let's see, I'll do it on this one here. You've got a 24-hour clock in red inside the watch, similar to the Amelia. Amelia's Zulu time is on the red numbers on the inside, so it's the same thing on the Elise. You have the regular hour, minute, and second hands that you would have just like on any other watch. That's time zone number 2. And then you've got this. And I'm not sure if you can see it that clear, but you'll definitely be able to see it when you go to the Navy Exchange and check them out on there. You have that inner rotating chapter ring will give you a 3rd time zone. So like I said, I just went to England, right? So we're in Las Vegas. What I did was I had Las Vegas just left on the time. I have my red, that 24-hour clock set up to Zulu time because I'm still flying. And then I put England on the outside. Never had to pull the crown out, never had to check. You know, I know when the flight attendants make the announcement when you land and say, hey, the current time is blah, blah, blah. Everybody can set their watch. You don't have to do that with the Elise. All you have to do is just take that crown on the side and rotate it to whatever that 3rd time zone is that you need. Very cool watch. This is also one of our smallest watches. So you're looking at a 33mm case size, and in fact, I'm wearing it on my other wrist. You'll find that I always wear 2 watches. Everybody always comments on it. It's just a thing I do. I feel unbalanced if I'm not wearing 2 watches. Please don't yell at me. But if you like to double wrist like I do, then by all means, we should start a trend. I'm working on it. Nobody's really catching on yet, but I still think it'd be pretty fun. Quick fun story. I met Buzz Aldrin at an event, and he also wears 2 watches. So I figured if it's cool enough for the second man on the moon to go and wear 2 watches, then I think I'm doing okay. So, yeah, so that's the Elise. Elise comes in a rose gold. It will come in a silver dial and a silver band. You have a gold with a white dial. It's a pearl dial as well, similar to Jackie. You've got a genuine mother of pearl. This 2-tone with the dark blue dial is our midnight. That's probably one of our most popular colors. And then you've also got this bronze as well, which is just absolutely stunning. This one always sells out. And then you have North Star, which is this beautiful blue mother of pearl dial, and you've got a 2-tone. So that is your Elise. Lots and lots and lots of color options. So now we're kind of moving towards our 4th model, which is Katherine. Katherine is right here. Katherine has a very, very interesting bezel around it. It's a stopwatch like Jackie. It has a pearl dial like Jackie. It's a 40mm case size. 40 millimeter is the same size as the Amelia, and it comes also in 7 colors, so just like Elise. You can get it with a leather band, or you can get it with a metal band. But again, like I said, all of these bands are totally interchangeable. So if you really like the look of a purple dial, but you want to have a white band on it, not a problem at all. That's really easy. What this watch has on it is an alphabet around that inner bezel. So everything that you see, all Abingdon watches always have an inner rotating chapter ring or inner rotating bezel with some feature on it. Now, if you are a pilot, then you're going to really like this, because that inner chapter ring has the alphabet. And then right about 6 o'clock, and a lot of people always comment that, oh, you've got your little magnifying bubble window like you would over a date. You've probably seen that on other watches. But why is it below 6 and 7 o'clock? That's, you know, your watch is messed up. It should be up here by 3 where the date is. And I say, no. It's not for the date. You'll see the word ATIS printed under here, ATIS, which stands for Automatic Transcribed Information Service. ATIS is a system that all pilots and air traffic controllers use to get the current weather information. And this is one of 2 watches in the world that has that feature on it. So you've got an ATIS reminder bezel, or an ATIS reminder chapter ring on it. Now, if you're not a pilot, not a big deal, because there was she flew for the Coast Guard. I want to say it was a cargo ship. I think she was in a C5. No, she wasn't in a C5. But she was search and rescue based in Hawaii, and she was one of the first people to get this watch. And she said, you know, I really like the ATIS. That's a nice feature for when I'm flying. But what I actually use the alphabet for is when I'm going out and when I meet people for the first time and I can't ever remember their first name. So what I do is I'll take the first letter of their first name, rotate it underneath that magnifying window, and then it's just an easy reminder. I can glance at my watch as if you're checking the time, and which you have to be careful about too, because you don't want them to think that, you know, you're bored with the conversation, you're looking at the time. But she said, I will hands down be able to remember people's name way easier with this alphabet. So I thought that was an amazing trick tool that she used this watch for, is just remembering people's names. I thought that was really cool. Japanese movement, it's the Miyota FS20, also the same as the Jackie, but you'll see that this is a bit more of an everyday look. It doesn't have that bling that the Jackie does. Like I said, showstopper for sure. This watch, I think, is just absolutely stunning. It's got a very, very sporty but classy look, and it has the alphabet around it. So it's the only watch in the collection that does have that alphabet feature, and that's called Katherine. So let's see, we've done our first dive watch when we came out. It's called the Marina. It is designed by divers, by female divers. We had a group of 9, I take that back, 9 designed our tactical. We had 7 design a dive watch. They're existing customers. This is something that I do all the time as I engage our customer base. And by the way, you're not a customer when you own an Abingdon watch, you're a crew member. So you will be joining the crew if you own one of these and you wear one of these. And if you ever meet another crew member out in the world that is also wearing an Abingdon watch, there is an immediate connection. You guys will end up being friends. It's happened for the last 15 years. I think it's one of the coolest things in the world. And you get to join the crew when you wear one of these. So I pulled 7 crew members to help design this Marina dive watch. They were dive masters, they ran dive operations, they were instructors, they were pros in the dive world. They happen to also have their pilot's license, right? So that's how I knew them. That's how they got introduced to the brand, is they bought one of the pilot's watches. And when I said, hey, I'd like to come out with a dive watch, will you help me design it? This is what we came up with. So it's a titanium watch, which means you're not going to get any rust. So salt water, fresh water, it's very light, but you still have that feature where you can remove the band. So same thing on the titanium straps that you have on the steel straps. It also comes with a silicone strap. So the Marina will arrive with 2 straps. I like to dive with a silicone strap, and then I'll just wear the titanium strap outside of my dive if I'm going off for dinner or something like that. But one thing that you'll notice in the dive strap is, and this is in the titanium one, is you also have, I'm going to pop this out, a wetsuit expander. So this will expand over a 7mm wetsuit, and that is built into the buckle. So you do have that function as well. So if you do like to wear a titanium strap or a metal strap when you dive, then no problem with that. You can fit it over your wetsuit, or if you dive in warm water, which is what I prefer to do, then you don't need a wetsuit, and you can just put it right on your wrist. So that's your strap. But like I said, if you want to swap it out with the silicone strap, you've got that too. This is an automatic watch, so you don't have any batteries in this watch. If you wear it, it will work. It has a 40-hour power reserve, which means that if you lay it down on your dresser, on your nightstand, and you don't wear it for about 2 days, 40 hours is when it's going to start slowing down. Outside of that, it will still run. So, and the great thing is when you put it right back on your wrist, it just starts running again. So it works with the motion of your wrist. If you've never had an automatic watch before, and this is one of your first, you never have to change a battery. The reason why we did that is because the water resistance on this watch is 660 feet. So it's going to survive probably deeper than you'll survive. But when you have that type of water resistance, you need to maintain that seal. And that's one of the reasons why we put an automatic movement in this watch, is so that we don't have to open it up every 2 to 3 years to change a battery. So we can keep it sealed. What we recommend is that you do service it every 5 years to just get everything cleaned, re-oiled, all of that, and then this will last you a lifetime. To have a titanium case and strap, an automatic movement, 660-foot water resistance. You've got glow-in-the-dark dials when you're looking at the white, the blue, which is currently sold out, so let me break your heart right now. But the blue will be back, and the black. These three all have an entirely luminous dial. So what that means is the dial, the color on the inside will glow along with those white hour markings and the white hands. Those are coated in superluminova, so that will glow as well. So any of the other color choices that you see, the purple, the red, orange, the green, they also have glow-in-the-dark features. It's just not the entire dial. So that is your Marina. It's a 40mm case size like the Katherine and the Amelia. I'm going to have to kind of stand up here a little bit and get these because we're moving around. And my favorite feature on the Marina is the world timer. And this makes total sense. And I love this, that this was something that was brought up when we were designing this style, is most divers and most people that are doing these adventurous activities, they like to travel, right? So if you're traveling, you're going to the Red Sea for a dive, or you're going to Fiji for a vacation, you want to do a dive while you're on vacation, why wouldn't you have a world timer on a dive watch? So you actually have the ability to have 2 time zones on this watch as well. You can put Fiji, Red Sea, and then you're home, so that you're not calling your family or your friends or whomever at 2 o'clock in the morning, waking them up. You've got it right here on your watch. So you also have your unidirectional bezel, and this is a standard on any dive watch. So if you are a diver, you definitely recognize what that dive bezel does. It helps to keep track of how much air you have in your tank when you go diving. It's a unidirectional, meaning it only goes one way. It won't go the other way. That's a safety feature that they build into dive watches. So we've got lots of information on our video manuals about that. But if you're a diver, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you like that world timer, drop a comment in below, because I've never seen another dive watch that has a world timer on it. That's not digital. These are all analog. And that's actually one of the other things, and we'll get to it when we get to the tactical watch, that it's kind of important to have analog watches these days, especially if you're on certain military bases or going into certain buildings where you cannot have any smart technology. So these already meet the bar there. They already passed that test. So that's one of the cool features about all of the Abingdon watches, is none of that smart technology is built in. Eventually we may end up coming out with some styles that are like that, but for right now they all pass any type of security tests and anything like that, so you don't have to worry about that. Everything that you see is going to hold up water resistance. Now, I mentioned that I accidentally put my watch in the washing machine. what I had done is I had taken it off, I put it in my sweater pocket, and then I forgot that it was in there, and it was one of the, I had a leather band on it, so it wasn't as, I guess, it wasn't as loud, right? With a metal band, you could kind of maybe hear it hitting itself, but with a leather band, you won't. And I accidentally threw my sweater into the laundry with the watch in the pocket. Heard it dangling around the whole time, and it just came out clean. That was really all that happened. There was a non-event. And I didn't even realize, I figured I would find the change at the end of the cycle when I took all the clothes out and I saw my watch at the bottom of the washing machine, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's insane. Is my watch still working? It was still ticking. And I was shocked. But all of these watches, and I'm just going to drop a whole bunch in here. In fact, I should just actually just put, of the ones that I've put in, I'm just going to put them in. They are 100% okay. You can take anything and everything and get it wet, go to the lake, go to, let's see, if you have, let's see, what else can we do? We can, what other kind of fun activities do we do? I wouldn't recommend putting it in the shower, and the reason why is because steam gets into places that water doesn't. So if you take your watch off when you go into the shower, and this is just some watch, knowledge for anything that you have, then it's just not always a good idea to wear watches in the shower. But anywhere else, you're perfectly a-okay. And I've gone to the beach. I've even gone on shallow dives with some of the other styles, not the dive watches per se, and they hold up fine. They totally hold up fine. If you drop them, these are okay. These are not going to break on you. So Jordan came out this year. This is one of our newest watches. Jordan comes in British Racing Green and Boulevard Black, and it is our intro to racing. So we just broke into the motorsports industries with motorcycles, race cars, all of those types of things, and this is our entry watch. So it has a tachometer around the outer bezel, timing 1/100th of a second for precision timing. You also have a stopwatch feature on this watch as well, and then because that second time zone is so popular that we've had on our other styles, we incorporated it onto this as well. Most of the people that do like to race cars, do like to ride motorcycles, do their weekend warrior deal, and they cross time zones, they want to have something that has 2 time zones. And since travel is one of the foundations of our crew members' lives, we wanted to make it super easy on their watch that they can use it not just for racing functions, but also for travel functions. So it comes in British Racing Green, like I said, and Boulevard Black. And I have to show you this band. This is the one watch that this strap comes on. Don't you like how I got it all wet? And it's fine. It's no problem. It's got just a beautiful racing look on it. So we have a weathered, it's like a weathered leather that we do. And I should also talk a little bit about the manufacturing. We do all the final assembly here in Las Vegas. So right behind is our assembly house, and we're putting together the finished parts. So yes, are we using Swiss movements and Japanese movements? We are. Are we also using American movements? I'm going to get to that in a second, because we are. Our bands also are made out of Florida. So we do source from all over the world to get the best materials for you, and then we bring them in-house here to Las Vegas, and we put it all together and bring it out to you. So that is your Jordan. So this watch here is Nadia. Nadia is our second dive watch, 35 millimeter case size. You're not going to find many watches that can go down 660 feet that are this small. It's very difficult to engineer a tiny case to have such a heavy water resistance. But that's my job, is to figure out how to do it, and then I can give it to you guys. So it comes in 2 colors. You've got white water, and then you've got abyss, that beautiful white and blue, and then you've got black and pink. Now, the silicone straps, they're interchangeable, just like all of the other ones. You've got a sapphire crystal on here, and my favorite feature on this particular watch, because I guess there was a movie out about this, where two divers came up from the water and then the boat was gone and they didn't know what to do. So it's instilled a bit of a fear in me, but one of the things that I have used, and I use this more underwater than I do above, of course my hands are all wet right now, so this is a really good test, because all these crowns right now are screw out. And I've actually tested this with gloves more, and it works a lot better with gloves. So this is really cool, because you guys are seeing an actual, like, hey, wait, she's struggling with that, but that's okay. The bezel, or I should say the inner bezel on this one, is a compass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how it rotates. And you can have 360-degree bezel on it that has your compass. You've also got day and date on this too. You do also have your unidirectional diver's bezel, like the Marina. So you've got a compass, a diver's bezel, day and date, an automatic movement again, and because only our dive watches will always have autos. I'll just I want to lay that out right now. If you want a dive watch and you want an automatic movement, then we're never going to make a dive watch that has a quartz movement. It's just not going to happen. And the reason being, like I said earlier, you don't want to be changing and opening up a watch, a dive watch, every 2 to 3 years to change a battery. It's just not really good for the water resistance to hold. So it's much better that you have a watch that is an auto. So, okay, here we go. So I just unscrewed the crown, and if you can see that, that compass is a bidirectional, and you can use the watch hands on a watch to find true north and to use as a full-on compass. One of my other favorite features, which is hidden underneath, is the strap. Now the strap is made extra long. The reason being, and feel okay about this, the reason being is that you can wear this over a wetsuit, but you can also snip off extra, because at this end going down is a ruler, and it has been printed onto the back. Not printed, it's actually built in, so it's grooved, so it won't wear off. There's an entire ruler down the back of the Nadia. So you get that on this black watch as well as this watch and the last watch that I'm going to show you. But it's just another function that we can build into a watch that you don't necessarily find. So if you're a fisher, if you like to fish or you hunt lobster or anything like that, you know that you have to measure certain lengths or else you have to toss it back. Well, your watch can do that too. So you've got that function here. That's your Nadia. Like I said, it comes in abyss, comes in whitewater, and it is our newest dive watch. Last but not least is Jane. Jane is our tactical watch. Jane we built specifically for the military, and Jane has some very, very cool features. Now, Jane is our very first watch with an American movement. Made in Phoenix. It's called AmeriQuartz. And if you are in the watch world, you know what a big deal it is that there is an American-made movement, because America has not been making watch movements for a very long time. So I am incredibly excited that we have an American movement in this watch. It comes in 3 color choices. So I'm holding the Outlaw, and a lot of people that are on farms, ranch hands, horse handlers, they like this watch. That's how we kind of designed this style, is to be dirty and not necessarily look dirty. Because of that brown, that weathered look, it's just got a very, very earthy feel to it. But it's a very beautiful watch with that bronzed gold. So this case can withstand 660 feet water resistance as a tactical watch. You can take this down as deep as any of our dive watches. You've got luminous hands, luminous hour markings. You've got a unidirectional bezel as well, so for timing. You have that inner rotating compass that the Nadia also has. The major difference between the Nadia and the Jane is that movement. So where Nadia is that automatic movement, automatic, so no batteries. This one is a battery movement. It's just American made. So that's the only major difference between the two, is the type of movement that it has. but you've got also a covert and a mission style as well. So the black silicone straps come with these two styles. This toffee weathered kind of brown leather comes with the outlaw style. And then if you like any of the other band options, they can also come on it too, because I think I've said it once or twice, but all the bands are interchangeable. So that is something that you will find across the board. I think I've pretty much gone through everything that is going to be available. So I'm so glad that you joined me on the Navy Exchange to get this first sneak peek at what is coming soon. Thank you so much for tuning in today to learn all about Abingdon watches. We cannot wait for you to experience them soon.